Starting from 2024, everyone, let's begin with some useful stuff. I want to record 2 lessons for you. It's going to be a rack and a single dish in different techniques with different molds and different color effects naturally. So let's choose the molds. I'm going to fill a 2-tier rack. I think I'll fill one bottom that's quite large. The second will be smaller. I don't want 3 tiers. That's too many. You'll understand the technique anyway. So everything is ready. Let's go. So everyone, for the first lesson, will make a bookcase. We'll save a bit of smoke for later. That will be the second lesson. Notice that from the very beginning, you must know how to duplicate like a beginner, like a professional. You need to know multiplication tables. First, we protect ourselves. I have this mask. Well, I won't wear it during the lesson because I'm recording it. I don't want to redub it. Generally, when you redub, you forget some things, important nuances when you're doing it and already feeling it. So we protected ourselves. We protected the surface. I have work clothes that I use, which I take off and leave here. We level the table. This is very important, probably the most crucial point. I got the resin. It's cold outside, and I put it near the heater so that it softens and takes on its natural state. Molds, if you have new ones, still use tape to clean them. If you have old ones, please store them neatly on a flat surface covered with polyethylene or some kind of film. Of course, molds have their own lifespan, more than 25. Well, we all know it depends on the quality of the silicone. Molds cannot withstand, they tear, become matted and bend, but you can still extend their life, also for the middle. We need stones, we need sequins, we need mother of pearl, we need anything. If you don't have it and you haven't allocated finances for it, no problem. We buy the most budget spray paint, collect the stones, paint them any color, put them inside. We go to nail stores, choose any food glitter. You can even cut gold leaf. Glitter yourself, even the same foil from which we bake and make some delicious treats as for the base. It can also be cut and inserted inside. So, for work, I will need thick resin, a smoke effect. The second lesson I will show on thick, on liquid, on medium. There will be 3 lessons so that you can see the difference. This grinder serving pour will be on thick, with this same option I have for liquid, for medium. Go to YouTube, look, there's a lot of useful stuff there. So let's prepare the resin. First of all, guys, I'll prepare the epoxy. Then I will start cleaning the molds, preparing everything that is needed for work. I will put the resin on the heater for just a few seconds so that the bubbles come out better. So we carefully read the proportions, how to mix your resin. Each resin has its own proportions. You know, I was just flabbergasted recently when I saw such a rude attack on YouTube. Tell me, well, you obviously won't tell me the secret. Which ones? About mixing your resin, this is not a secret at all, because each company, each manufacturer has its own instructions and its own mixing method and its own proportions. There are resins that mix 1 to 2. There are resins that mix 1 to 24, 12, 35. That is, each resin has its own proportion, and this must be read in the instructions carefully. If the instructions on the can do not say so, write to the manufacturer. The Delix resin is mixed 100 to 70. That is, for 100 grams of resin, you need 70 grams of hardener. This is how we act. I advise you to use transparent cups in your work because they are as transparent as possible. You can easily control how well you mixed, how carefully and diligently you approach this issue, because everything is directly visible. That is, the resin, when 2 components are mixed, they first become cloudy. Only then it becomes transparent and should be without any hairs, without any veins. That is, the time for mixing the resin is also written by the manufacturers. Some Glosses without any veins, that is the time for mixing resin, is also written by the manufacturers. Some manufacturers mechanically write a specific time of 3 minutes, 8 minutes by hand. That is, look and read this too. But if they state 3 minutes mechanically or 8 by hand, then stir for 10 minutes. Well, that means it's better to spend more time at the first stage of mixing than to have your product spoil later if there's some kind of snivel. That won't mix, it will remain unfrozen. That is, you must understand the two components must fit together perfectly. Then you will not have any bald spots. The resin will not ooze out. If there's a bit of uncured resin left, it will find a hole where it begins to flow. What to do with this? Sand it again, recoat it, but only mix it thoroughly. Therefore, at this stage, which seems to be the most basic and understandable, many mistakes are made because of the rush. It seems that during the stated shelf life period, you won't have time to finish anything. But believe me, if you laid everything out correctly, prepared it, thought in advance about what items you'll need and won't need, and put everything nearby, this is 90% of your successful pouring. You just need to sit down and think before you start working. So what will I need? I need cups, I need gloves, I need spatulas, pebbles, pigments, a burner, maybe a toothpick, maybe some tape, maybe something else, that's all. You should put everything in one place so that you don't have to run around, even in a small room or a small studio, so you don't waste time. When you have everything prepared on the table, everything at hand, you will get everything done and you won't rush, you won't fuss. The stated time you spend mixing the resin, you will do everything well, efficiently, thoughtfully. You will get an excellent result. So, look guys, my resin is already being prepared, and looking at it, I see that it doesn't have as many bubbles as I was afraid it would, but I'll still put it on the heater for literally 30 seconds while I clean the tape and mold while I prepare the pigments. I want to do this fill. My main pigment will be black. My second color will be like this. You know, this is not Tiffany. This is more about bright blue, that is. I will initially make it that color. In principle, such a fill can be done with 3 colors, that is black, then bright blue and white, but the end result will be blue. But I want to reduce the number of colors so that there's more space for veins. And look, my molds are not high, that is this effect, it's not from the mold. There is simply an effect that looks coolest on full volume molds, that is on high one, but there are effects that can only be done on flat molds. This effect turns out great on any mold, meaning the thickness of the mold does not affect the 100% result of this effect if you follow everything as I explained. So I mix the resin and put it on the heater, guys. If you, like me, use the method of removing bubbles using a heater, please set an alarm for yourself or constantly keep in mind that the resin is on the heater. Because many times I've missed the resin, it hardened for me. So the heater, by serving as a helper, it can also bring harm. So clean the mold with tape, remove all specks of dust, all specks. I have a scoop like this. We will make black turquoise pebbles. The resin stood for about 30 seconds. So I have mixed in here. I need 180 grams. Look, I have an estimate for 2 molds, yes. If you have any problems with the calculations, write to me. We'll do the calculations, I'll tell you. I'll show you how to do everything. So I'm mixing 35 grams for black and 35 grams for blue. So my blue will be made of blue and white. From blue and white, I add 5 drops of blue pigment from the Rain Pro company and 7 drops of white pigment. Mix well. This color should be dense, rich and opaque. I've mixed the blue. Now for black, we should have a slightly stained glass black. It should not be opaque, dense, or saturated, but for 35 grams, I dropped 2 drops. And you can check it with a wide spatula. Look, it's so smoky. For the first layer, I make a transparent 20 grams. You can cast it separately so that you can clearly understand it for yourself. It should be even, because if we pour it crookedly, it will pour out crookedly on that side. That is, the smoother and better you pour on this side, the more ideal it will be on the other side. Now guys, look, we pour circle into circle. If you pour beyond the transparent, you will have a blot. Pour the black color, try to pour evenly so that the thickness is the same everywhere. If it turns out thicker somewhere, go back there and add black pigment. Now add our blue evenly to the same layer. You can make 3 colors, blue or, for example, black, blue, and white. Yes, then you don't have to make 2 colors. You can even do more if the size of the dish allows it. That's all, the effect is ready. Pour out the rest of the transparent resin and decorate the middle. I want the middle to be black and turquoise, so I make black and turquoise pebbles. First, you need to peel it off well at the end because the mold is quite thin. If somewhere it doesn't peel off well, heat it up with a hair dryer and remove it. Oh, such a jellyfish. Oh, look, this is necessary. Bring it closer. Look, the first one is ready, so the third one is curly. Let's take a closer look at this effect. Look at the rays. It's like a flower. Yes, it reminds you of a flower. Yes, to me, we twist our rod. Look, these are the ones that go under the rod pads. Place them under the bottom and between the teeth of your string. That is on the bottom side, under this one here. Then the base will not be scratched if you want to change the string. For example, next time, if it just misses the mark, your hole, take it with a nail file and polish it. Or if you have a Dremel, take it, drill it, screw it in, that's it, the yummy is ready. Look how beautiful it is. The flower is ready and you can decorate sweets, display sweets, cakes, and your table setting will be unusual, not like everyone else's. Be sure to tag yourself in your experiments too. I will be very pleased to see your results, your work. Have a great mood, everyone.